So I just wanted to go through score transcription here today, and this is one of the most useful things you can do when you're learning composition. And it's something that all composers should do, honestly, because it just helps you to increase your knowledge how to solve compositional problems. Now, it's best to do this alongside music theory training, okay? So if you're learning about like chromatic harmony, you're learning chord voicings and stuff like that, that stuff is still important. I'm not dismissing that. I think this should be used alongside it. So you add this to your daily routine if you have the time. And really all you need to do is you just pick a song. Now I have a catalog of songs I'm going through, and you can see this is Leia's theme. And so what I did is I transcribed this by ear. And what this does is it helps you develop intuition on what to compose harmonically. And you can also use this for orchestration. I'm currently not doing that. As you can see, I'm just transcribing for harmonic knowledge, but eventually I can do it with orchestration as well to learn how to orchestrate. But I'm saving that for when I can buy some staff paper, notation paper, because it's best to learn orchestration on paper just to get the feel of it. And then also transposing. I'm not familiar with transposing, so I might need to learn that as well. Get better at that. But you can, for now, if you don't have paper, obviously paper is best if you're doing this because you're writing it down. But let's say you just want to get started, because paper, it takes a long time when you're first starting out. So let's say you just want to get into this. It's perfectly fine, in my opinion, to use notation software starting out. And then, then you can move on to paper. So this isn't a substitute for harmonic exercises. I think going through every key signature and going through all of the chord progressions, like just going through the harmonic, the circle of fifths counterclockwise, like 1, 4, 7, 3, 6, 2, 5, 1, just doing the harmonic exercises. There's no substitute for that, but so you should do that alongside this, but this is also important. So like I said, I just picked the piece, I started transcribing. The type of piece you pick really, you should pick pieces in order to develop specific skills. And you can use ChatGPT for that if you don't know what to pick. I just I created a list of songs, and it's structured in a way to teach me specific skills. So that way when I get, as I go through the list, I'm developing skills in multiple areas. So again, you can use ChatGPT if you're not sure, like you don't have the knowledge of what to study. But you don't even have to do the full song. You just do like a couple bars. I did, looks like 12, 13, 14 bars here. And then you move on to the next song. But what you do is you go through and you analyze it. And I have a sheet here that you can use. I call it the Williams DNA library. And I basically put in every song here in an individual tab. Now, before I do this, I actually have a separate document. And that's why I say you should dedicate some time to this each day, because it takes about an hour to do this. But I have a separate document here. It's called the Leia's theme score analysis, and it's just a full page of analysis. And I can put a template in the description if you want. However, what I do is and then once I do that, I go into this DNA library and I put it in here so I can easily have access to it. But nothing is going to substitute the work you put in. You have to do this basically every day, and you learn a lot when you do it. So let me just go through it. So obviously I transcribed this. I'm not going to play it because I don't want copyright. So I'm not going to play it. It's not my song, but you should look it up and you should know what it sounds like. And then what I do after I transcribe it, so you do it at the bare minimum 8 bars, but if you feel like you want to do more, because I felt like I had to phrase, finish up the piece, or finish up this phrase piece. So I just did 14 bars. But in general, you want to do at least 8. And then after you do that, you correct it. So you go through the actual score. You can look up score reductions on YouTube, and you just correct it. You don't have to correct everything. Like I corrected this section right here. I realized the strings were kind of expanding and contracting with the harmony, as you can see. But then I stopped doing it. It actually continues with that pattern into these next bars here. I stopped. And that's just because I understood what he was doing. I don't need to do it like the whole way through. I already get the idea. So you don't have to correct everything. The melody was basically correct. I did that. It was fairly easy to hear. And yeah, so and then again, orchestration. I'm waiting for orchestration. I'm going to buy some staff paper, and then I'm going to try and orchestrate. I'm just gonna do it with the staff paper, and so that's step 1. Step 2 is you make your own piece, and remember the sheet that I showed you earlier. This sheet, at the end of the sheet, there's 2 things that you can steal. Actually, that's what the DNA library is basically just a catalog where I can go and look at everything. But the actual sheet that I used when I was writing the piece was, I made a dedicated sheet. This basically just is in more detail. And within this sheet, I created, there's an exercise where you compose 4 to 8 bars. Sometimes you can do more. And you use only the 2 techniques that you got from the sheet. And again, I can put a link to the sheet if you guys want it. Template, if you want to borrow it. Okay, where was I going with that? Oh yeah, so I made a piece. Here it is. Leia's theme style exercise, and then I have a whole folder where I put all this stuff in and organize it on my computer, so I keep track of it. But here it is, and it's not the same thing. I know it looks similar, but it's not. And I just took the main melody. I didn't do the opening. I just took the main melody and I tried my own spin on it. So here it is if you want to listen. Turn this up. So it's not perfect, but you know, you get the idea. You're learning new things every time you do this. And then what I did is I just orchestrated it. Now, the reason you don't have to do that straight away. The reason I orchestrated it is because I'm learning how to use digital audio workstations, and I needed a realistic mock-up practice. So I just orchestrated it so I could practice using mockups in Digital Audio Workstation. So I actually loaded it in Dorico just to get a more realistic sound, and I can play it if you want to hear it. And yeah, that's basically it. So I'll play this, and then that'll be the end of the video. And basically, I just do this with, I have a whole list of pieces that I'm doing, and I might just make videos on those pieces that I'm doing, and hopefully you can learn something from them. can go through and kind of show you some of the techniques that were used. So really what it was, I'll just give you the two techniques used. It was a statement, a variation of the statement. So by statement, I mean for two measures of the piece, he basically stated for two measures of the piece, he had a statement that consisted of a motif, two motivic ideas. He just did a variation of those two bars, then he sequenced it and changed some of the notes. That means he moved it up like a semitone or something. Like it was in a different range. So he moved it, but then he might have changed some of the notes to make it sound a little different. And then that brought us to the climax where he took one of those motifs and made it rise up or build intensity somehow. And then he resolved back. So really what he did was he did a chromatic shift here, and then he arrived back in the key, which was A, tonal center of A. And then I also used another technique, one chord per bar, but the harmony was expanding and contracting every 8th note beats. That's basically what I meant by this. Like, he used this technique, but I just used different notes and different voicings of the notes, but it's a similar technique that he used. And this basically allows you to just build your skills over time. It's different from that analysis series I was doing on the Battle of Crate, because that's just one song and you're not learning much if you're just copying what they're doing, you know. So that's basically what I was doing, is I was just copying what he did, but I wasn't really learning. And so this helps you actually learn, and then you can always go back and look at what you put down for it. So yeah, I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you want the Google Doc template, and I'll see you in the next video.